Good morning.
Good morning, everyone. So the time is ticking and we're waiting another 2.5 minutes until we start. I see all the guests dribbling in. So that's good. Thank you for joining. Hi, good morning to our new guests. We will wait another minute until we'll start. So probably some more people will join. We're expecting about 30 guests. So we'll see. Hello, good morning. All right. Welcome, everyone. And good to see you attending this webinar on a new release for the pCon.basket version 2.14. My name is Fleur Slobbe. I'm account manager at Eastern Graphics, and I'll be your host for this webinar. Earlier this week, we hosted a webinar on the pCon Planner, so you might have seen that. And otherwise, welcome to the webinar. The aim of the coming 45 minutes is to take you all the way through the new features within the application. We are also recording this webinar and we will send you the recordings later. So you can take notes, but you don't have to because you can always watch back the recordings. During the session, you can send in all your questions. In the section above, there is a chat where you can share your thoughts on new features. And there is a V&A or Q&A section where you can send in questions. And then at the end of the session, we'll discuss some of these questions depending on the time we will still have left. So now I would like to give the floor to my colleague Jort, Business Solutions Manager, and he will share his screen with us.
Yes, thank you everybody for joining in. I'll get to the information right away. So we're here today about the new version of the pCon Planner, the pCon Basket, our quotation tool. It's good to know that in the quotation tool, we'll have a couple of versions. You see the arrow pointing at it at the bottom left section. We'll have the pCon Basket Pro users, pCon Basket CE users, and pCon Basket for integration users. With all the functionalities that are passing by, in the bottom left section, you will see which version this applies to. So that's a good thing to know. Furthermore, we have divided the new features into a couple of topics, as you can see here. We'll start with some general workflow updates that we will be presenting, article management, calculation, reporting, which has a lot of new functionalities, and then the export section. As Fleur mentioned, please, if you have any questions, send them in. We'll try to cover them as fast as possible within the presentation, of course. During the presentation, I'll show you some sheets but also hop onto the live environment so you can already see some of the new functionalities at work. Starting off with the workflow. I think one of the major updates that we do is the article migration. So a lot of you already has found out about the possibility to update your articles to the latest data. For example, you have a quotation or a project that has been going for 3 or 4 months, and at some point you would like to create a new offer, update all of the pricing and options within sending it out to your customer. Previously, you were able to do so. You just select everything, make an update, and it will tell you that there has been some changes, for example, and then push it through. Now, to make that a little bit more refined, we've added a new functionality, the article migration 2.0, that tells you also the differences that there are. So what I will do is I'll hop over to the pCon.basket itself, just open a quotation. So this quotation is coming from a while back. It's just a small meeting room, and as you can see, we have the article unknown image in front of it, so the question mark, which states that it does not have been updated to the latest data. So what I will do is I'll select all of my articles and update them to today's date. So I just want to have the latest data available and present that to my customer. I'll click on the update button, and it tells me here right away that there is a article that needs migration. Okay, I confirm it. Yes, please give me a visual representation of which one it is. Well, as you can see, the blue boxes are ready to go. So they are updated and completely aligned with the latest data of the manufacturer. But one of them is showcasing a red icon. So the red icon is the one that I should be updating. As you can see, it says also in the brackets, migrated. So there is something with this article that needs to be changed. Where do I find that information? I find that information in the property section. This pop-up at the bottom section is new, where you can see the old information and the new information. So, for example, the old information did not have anything regarding the foam against fires, but it does have some information about the powder coating. So the option here, the P03, is not present in the current data. Therefore, it applies to me a new version, the P10, as you can see here. But maybe I would like to change that to any other color or any other information in their data. As you can see, I can do any changes here. Would I, for example, choose to make it white? You can see it does also give me that information into the new section. In this case, I'm going to keep it black, but it is changed to the fine texture. As soon as I click on the finish migration, it will change the old settings to the new one, and the box on the left-hand side will be turning blue again. There is always a manual step to do. So there's always the button here to say finish migration. We made sure to do that because you then have to switch each of the products that is changing from an old to a new configuration, and you're well aware that you have to change something in the data. By clicking finish migration, you can see it automatically changes, and now I'm ready to go and send out the quotation on the latest data of the manufacturer RT4 in this case. Next up in the workflow, we have the possibility to autosave. So a lot of you requested this to make sure that we don't lose any of our quotations in whatever reason possible. We are now able to do autosaving within the application. As you can see, it's applicable in all of the pCon.basket applications, so each version, and it's something that I have to set up manually. So within the settings can be found on the top left corner. I go to my general settings and I have the load and save option. Here I can define, do I want to save it on my computer or in my Office 365 environment, or should it ask me where to save? I normally just let it stay on ask, because that's the section I would like to prefer. Sometimes I save it locally and sometimes in my Office 365 environment. And I make sure that it autosaves every 5 minutes. And this will be done automatically without getting a notification. Would you like to get a notification? You can say that you would like to have a prompt before it autosaves. This could be whenever you're, for example, trying out new things or adjusting your quotation and you're not sure that it's the final option. You can say, please give me a prompt every time, and I can decline or accept that autosave for that moment itself. You have to set it up once, and it will automatically be recognized for each session, of course, that you open. Then I'm going back to the PowerPoint, and we have the last workflow adjustment within this update. As you can see, also in all variants of the pCon.basket, is to reset the exchange rate. So there is a exchange rate in our server environment, which is updated at least once every 24 hours. And I can choose to reset that rate to the latest one available in our web environment. So it's a very easy new functionality. It can be found within the header data of the pCon.basket with my currency and taxes, of course. So would I choose here to switch this one to, let's say, Danish krones, I have the possibility here to say reset it, and as you can see, it updates it automatically to the latest one available in our cloud systems. It also showcases to me now that it's grayed out because I'm already using the latest data. So if the button is available, you have the possibility to exchange it to the latest rates available in the system. Of course, you can also save it as a default if you have a certain one set and you don't want to change it at all. But the left-hand one is to make it as accurate as possible in your creating of the quotations. Next up is the article management. A lot of you use also custom catalogs in our quotation tool, meaning we have a lot of data from all of the manufacturers that are presented in pCon. However, we also have a possibility to add custom catalogs. Custom catalogs are an Excel sheet that is hosted in an online environment, which then can have predefined articles selected in our pCon.basket tool. Previously, we were able to support that Excel scheme in one language only, but now are also providing this in multi-language options. The same as in the pCon data, where the manufacturer provides a number of languages within their data. We now also provide that functionality in the custom catalog. I do not have a live example right away because this image is showcasing that in the sheet itself. As you can see, I have the possibility to create article and add columns to each language that I would like to present in the custom catalog itself. Good to know is this custom catalog follows the same structure as the pCon.basket data. So if my quotation language is set to German, for example, it will automatically take column C, as mentioned here, to look to the German data to present that one into the quotation itself. So there might be something that you have to change if you want to support it, of course. You have to add the columns and the new template will be published on the 5th of May with the new version of the basket. But it's a very easy way to present it in multiple languages now in the system. As you can see, this one only works for the pCon.basket Pro because the pCon.basket Pro only supports the possibility with the custom catalogs. Then within the article management, we have a new functionality that can predefine our camera views for the article list. For this one, as you can see, it works in all versions of the pCon.basket. I right away go to the article list and say that I would like to add a new product. I'll just create a new one and I'm going to add any product given. So let's say I'll take the chair of Akaba. You can see in the image settings that there is always a general view port that has been selected. Well, as many of you know, I have here the possibility to say I would like to have a top view of this product, or I would like to have a bottom view, for example, or just go with my mouse and say that I would like to showcase it just like this. This is something that I do for each product, but we have now the possibility, as you can see here, to save it as default. What I will do is I'll just take, for example, a left view so you can see the differences clearly. And I can say this camera view should be my default. Meaning if I go to the article list, this article will be shown from the left-hand side. And would I choose to select a new product, this will also align with that article image. This default is set for any product that I put in. So let's say I would like to add a table. You can see this also generates the side view of the table itself. As soon as I would like to change it again, or maybe set it back to default, I have here the possibility to overrule it by clicking again on Save on Default, or here to say I want to delete my default settings. Good to know is those settings are general for your own account. So meaning if I would open a new quote, it will still hold on to those default settings that I've predefined here. If I want to remove them, again, I have to click on the default, delete default option to make sure that I'm back to my original settings coming from the system itself. Next up is the calculation part of the update. As you can see, we have quite a sufficient enough amount of discounts available, but are presenting a new one, which is called the compensation discount. As you can see on the left-hand side, this is only available in the Pro and Integration version of our pCon.basket, and is used for creating a compensation or a rounding in the quotation itself. So for this, I have already prepared a new article. I will open this one as well. And as you can see, I have an article here, which I can directly go into our calculation tab. And you can see I've added here a new compensation discount. I'm going to remove it at first because I want to tell you why I have implemented this. What I can see is I have a unit price, which is 424 euros, and I have a total amount of 4. However, there is behind this number a extra decimal that is not shown in the pCon.basket. Therefore, if I multiply it by 4, I have a rounding here that is not in line with the total price of 1 unit. Therefore, now we can add the plus icon here and say that I would like to have the compensation discount added. Now, to create that rounding, I add a cent in this case, and my total amount is now aligned with the net value. However, as you can see, I can have a multiple calculation lines applied now, and perhaps that's not something that I would like to show to my customer. So we acknowledge that we add extra lines and that's not something you always want to present to your customer. Therefore, moving over to the report section, we've added an extra tool where I can say that I would like to merge my discounts. Then it will look into all of the sales discounts that I've provided for this quotation. So as you can see here, there are 3 now. Then I can say I would like to merge all of them combined so that I only have one discount rule applied in here. This is a way, nicer way to present it, and it will prevent confusion for the end user if they see multiple lines of discounts in the printed PDF, of course. So this is the calculation update that we've done in the compensation discount. Next up, we'll go to the reporting. In the reporting, as mentioned before, there are quite some changes to be done. One of them is an adjustment in the workflow. As you can see, there is a pop-up here that I've took a screenshot of. If this is a quotation made out of 1700 articles, and by uploading that and generating it to the PDF, we now show an interface that shows that it's currently presenting or preparing the article image. This can take up anywhere from 1 to 5 and sometimes 10 seconds, that process, but we now give you a visualization that we are working on generating all of those images to make sure you present it correctly in the quotation itself. So it's just a visual pop-up that you might see if you have really big quotations to be prepared, so you know that the system is working on it. Then next up, we have the management overview. The management overview is something that is used in the Pro and Integration version, and is more an internal document. I think a lot of you already know what the management overview is, but also some of you don't know what the management overview is. So therefore, I switch back to the pCon.basket again, and I'm just going to open a bigger quotation that has already been prepared. So what you can see here, there are many manufacturers available and applied in this quotation. I have some folders, etc., all set up to be presented. And then I'm going to the report section, and instead of clicking on the quotation, I'm going to open my management view. So the management view is a section where I have an overview of all of my manufacturers their product series and their products in there. And I have my purchase discount. So my apologies, I see this is still on Dutch. Might be hard for some people to understand. So I'll quickly set it back to English, where you can see I have my purchase discount that I've applied to all of the products, my sales discount on the right hand side, and my margin in euros and in a percentage, and of course a summary at the bottom of all of those products. As you can see, it can become quite tight in the quotation if it is a bigger one. Therefore, we have the possibility to say, hey, I would like to increase this one from A4 to an A3 format. Then I have a little bit more room to present this correctly. I will zoom out a little bit. I have a lot of information here to present, but I can have some options here to say, for example, I would not showcase the articles that are underneath, or perhaps, and that's one of the new functionalities, I would like to generate one for only extremists, for example, and Herman Miller in this quote. As you can see, then I can alter and select the manufacturer that I would like to get this information from, so that I can have a clear overview of the information for those manufacturers. Also new in the management overview is the possibility to get a compact or detailed view presented in the product itself. Hiding the products, of course, can be done by simply selecting this one, so that I only see the product series and the manufacturer that is applied in this case. So this is the new enhancement for the management overview. This is also a PDF, an export that we see that is used very frequently. So it's in one overview, so you can easily discuss it with your colleagues, or have an overview to be approved, for example, internally, that everything is done correctly in the calculation overview. Then we have a new functionality to showcase and hide the total discount amount in the quotation. As you can see also in the Pro and Integration version. This one is within the general quotation of the pCon.basket. So as you know, you can present it completely how you like. And in the bottom section, so if I go to the summary, I have the possibility here to say within my price information, please go show me the total discount amount in the all of the general settings. What I do then is I go all the way to the bottom, and it shows me the total discount amount of this particular plan. So it's just a section that I can put on or off. And of course, I can then save it as a default within my quotation template. It's good to know that this functionality can be altered for each quotation, of course. So if you save your default without that information, you are free to do so, and then upload it or apply it for each PDF, or have two versions, for example, to print it out from your article list. Next up is the management of child objects. And child objects is maybe something that you've come across, but not sure what it is within the application. Well, that's a good thing to know that, for example, I'll just take a new quotation. So we have a clear overview. A child object is something that we see a lot with modular products. So for example, I'll go to the RT4 product configurator, and they have a very nice modular sofa. And what I will do is I'll add some extra objects. And on the left hand side in the configuration, you can see that there are multiple objects now within the configuration. So the configuration is shown on the left hand side, where we see that the track configuration, so the naming of that article 1, is the parent article, and the 1.1 to 1.5 are child objects. Child objects are something that you have to know, of course, for presenting it to the manufacturer within your order. However, it's not always something that you would like to showcase to your end customer. Therefore, with the article list option, you can see we have a new field that tells me the child objects. As you can see here in the selected compact view, I already have it written down as the included components. I now have the possibility to say I would like to showcase this one with the price information of each individual unit, or I would like to show it without price information so that the end customer knows that there are multiple objects, or I have the possibility to hide this information. Hiding this information is only on the printed quotation, of course. Within your article list, they always will be present because I need them for ordering purposes and also for the calculation purposes, of course, in the quotation itself. This child objects option is also something that you can save as the default setting. So make sure if you want to use one of those new functionalities, apply them once and save them as default for your quotation in this setting here. Next up is the product comparison template. We hear that a lot of people are using the product comparison template, of course, to send to their customer to give them a choice between multiple options. But there was some feedback that we have to adjust the way of looking and that people would like to apply multiple products in their comparison. Now, to do that, we've changed the way of presenting a product comparison, and I'm going to upload a comparison quotation. So I have just a number of office chairs that I've applied here, and I'm going to switch this one to the article comparison, sorry, the product comparison view, and you can see it automatically presents them in this case as 3 lines with all of the information and two lines on the next page. We have now a new functionality that we can say, how would you like to have the page to be set up? Is that a portrait function or a landscape? And within the landscape option, so I'm going to zoom out a little bit, I can define how many articles there should be displayed. So for example, if I only want to showcase 2 of them, I can do it like this, or I can say I would like to show all 5 of the article lines within the overview itself. This also applies in the portrait function, of course, but you have to take into consideration that the spacing becomes very narrow for the information to be presented, of course. In the article list, I can alter everything that has to be shown here. So for example, I do not want to show the article number and maybe not the long text. I can also alter the information that is shown in the product comparison in here. Again, every change you create here or every information you would like to showcase, you can save it again as a default. And as you can see, some of the developments as part of the child objects, for example, are also applicable here. So you can say I would also hide the articles in here to make sure that the visualization and the presentation is done correctly in this case. That's the reporting done. Then we come to the last update of the pCon.basket, which is a new functionality in our Excel export. To make sure that everything that you do within the application can also be exported into an Excel format, for example, we've updated it and make sure that it is more robust, but also has more functionalities in presenting the Excel. What has been changed? Some users who already use that export might now see that there is a pop-up to be presented and that we have 2 export types that we can present. One of them is the project version and the other one is the management overview. How do you need to look at it? A project view is the same view that you use in the quotation, and the management overview is the same as in the management overview structure. So there are more or less an internal and external variant of it, where the management overview is way more compact. So it's a way less big Excel sheet to process further on. In the project overview, you get the images and all of the information shown in a more presentable way to a external source in that case. For each of the export types, we also have the views determined. So the views are familiar with you. We have the detailed view, the summarized view, and the flat list view, where they can have a flat list, for example, completely ignores the folders that are presented in our quotation. And the summarized view is summarizing all of the child objects, etc., into one line. The detailed view, however, there is completely all of the information. So each child object has its own line. It's a very detailed view of all of the information. So your Excel sheet will also be as big as possible to present all of that information. That's the general overview of all of the new updates of the pCon.basket. So it's good to know that you get the recording of all of this information. I would really like to thank you for your time to listen to all of the new updates. As mentioned earlier, 5th of May, we will be launching it into the market. It's good to know you don't have to do anything regarding the updates. All of the new functionalities, etc., will be launched in the 5th of May automatically for your version. If you log in on the 5th of May, you automatically get the new version with the same URL, etc. The information and the presentation will be shared with you, so you have some time to read into all of the information, but also track our socials where we communicate all of the new functionalities again. Thank you for your time. I'll now give the floor back to my colleague Fleur to end up the presentation and to see if there are any questions asked in the meantime.
Yes, thank you, Jort, for sharing all the new features with us. Really interesting, I think. So we also have some questions from our guests. The first question is, what is the difference between adding a compensation discount and manually changing the final selling price to enter a round number?
There is no real difference in there. However, a lot of our end users would like to showcase that they have done something with the 1 cent in this case, so that it also comes up to the management overview, and that there is a structure, a way to present and also to look back if another one of your colleagues comes to the same quote, that they can see there has been a rounding off applied in here.
All right, thank you. I hope that answered your question. We have another question. Is it possible to display the percentage discount when merging discount lines?
No, it's not possible. We are working on finding a possible solution to do so, because there are multiple lines. Some of them are a percentage and some of them are an absolute value. So in the first version, that is not possible. We are thinking about, okay, let it calculate the system back to showcase the total amount of discount, even if merged. But as of this release, it's not possible.
All right. Then we received another question. Can you add details to your quote from a supplier that isn't on pCon?
Yes, we have a number of options to do so. However, this is only possible in the Pro or integration version, because this is something that has to be done by a user article. And a user article is just a blank article where you can fill in your own manufacturer ID, article number, pricing, and commercial data. Or this is done via the custom catalog. So the custom catalog that I also briefly mentioned in the presentation, you can create an own Excel scheme to add those articles into your quotation as well.
All right, thank you. Another question. When changing a default product view mid-quote, will it automatically apply to items that are already in the basket?
No. So that's something that only works for the articles that have been added after that. So currently that would be that you have to copy all of the articles and re-put them into the quotation to adjust and adapt the latest view available.
All right, thank you. I hope that answered your question. Another question popped in. Can you turn an article into a child article, even though it wasn't selected as an option in the parent article?
No, currently that's not possible. The reason being there are a lot of dependencies in those child and father objects. And therefore, if you put on own products or alternative products into that child object range, it does not contain within the same structure as the data from the manufacturer itself. So that's for safety reasons that we can still provide you with all of the configurable options of the data of the manufacturer without interfering it with your own products in there.
All right. Thank you, Jort. I think we've reached the last question. Thank you all for sending in your questions. Really helpful. We also would really like to thank you for joining this webinar. I just wanted to mention that if you're interested in training your team on, for example, how to use the application, please know that we offer different types of trainings, both live and online. And also we can schedule a one-on-one session to look into the integration possibilities within the application. There's a lot of possibilities, so we would be more than happy to inform you about that. You can contact us via support@easterngraphics.nl if you have any questions. Also, you told us that there are some features that are available for the Pro version and some for the free version. In case you're interested in the differences between both versions, please let us know and we can give you a short demonstration on that. The session has been recorded, so we'll send them afterwards to you via email. And we also send out a survey. It will only take 5 minutes of your time and it would really help us. So thank you in advance for filling this out. And then we are left to tell you, to wish you a very nice day, hopefully with good weather. And we might see you in May at the Clerkenwell Design Week.
Perfect.
All
Thank
right.
you for your time, everybody.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.